Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different. If you're turning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing a story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, there's a message that is posting today for you later, and definitely check that out because there's some announcements at the beginning of that about some things that are coming up. Okay, with that, let's go ahead. Taking a step aside and allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, actually I'll cut again. Ooh, my stomach's growling. King of Cups. Knight of Swords. Temperance card. Three of Cups. Three of Pentacles. Hermit. Nine of Wands. And then I heard what it's all about. Oof. Is the Chariot. So, whoever this message is for, this is kind of an interesting energy because there's a lot of things that are changing, but it feels a little bit like we may not necessarily feel it yet. With the Chariot card, a lot of people read that as movement. I actually don't read it as movement because if you look at the traditional Chariot card, the Sphinxes are sitting. They're not moving. So you may feel a little bit like you're in a period of protection, maybe even closed off in some ways. And in the closed off energy, this is really, when we have the Chariot card, it's really not a closed off energy, and it's really not being stuck. It's kind of where your system is attuning to something new. And we could say new frequencies, we could say new experiences, but it's definitely attuning to something that it has not been tuned into before. Now, the interesting thing about this particular Chariot is it's looking in the past. And when this Chariot is looking, this Charioteer is looking in the past, it's almost like he's looking back at what has gone before. Now, the Chariot's sitting outside of a city. In the tarot, the city is what gets destroyed by death. So this is kind of like a pouring over, and you know, this came out inside the membership reading that's posting today. It's like a pouring over the things that have gone before. Someone may be finding that their thoughts keep returning to the past. You may find that you are trying to figure something out about the past for some of you, and others of you, you're looking at the past and you're realizing how far you've come. So I actually think that it can be any three of those things for whoever this message is for. It might be all three. Now, with the Knight of Swords touching the Chariot, I'm going to read out this way and then I'm reading out this way. The Knight of Swords touching this Chariot, it's telling me that somebody here, it's like there's some habits and behaviors that may have happened in the past that were rather rash. Like we didn't necessarily make the best choices, didn't necessarily make the best decisions. There may have been a little bit of a volatile energy, because for me, Knight of Swords is volatile air. And I think that this is something that a person may be trying to pour over, and they're recognizing how it was rooted in their emotions, right? The King of Cups, he owns the emotional space. This emotional space seems to be something that we've had to temper, okay? And this is basically what is happening here for this Chariot card. You're in a time, and my ears started ringing. Interesting. You're in a time, whoever this message is actually for, it's like you're in the space where things aren't necessarily moving. You don't see that anything's actually different. You may have plans for the future. You might find that you're thinking a lot about the past. But what's really happening is that in an emotional space, you're maturing. And you can probably feel that. And in this maturation of the emotional space, there seems to be some things that are coming together and things that we're understanding about ourselves. When we have this Three of Cups, this is the joining together of forces. In other words, things are starting to integrate, which is the process that would naturally follow the Temperance card, because the Temperance is about alchemy. When we have these three that are showing up together and they're kind of like, hey, look at my cup. No, look at my cup. No, look at my cup. You may be finding that your moods are kind of swinging back and forth, because that can sometimes happen when these three facets start to emerge and merge together. With the Three of Pentacles underneath it, it's a highlighting that 3 again, so the complex of 3s. This is very creative and very dynamic. So if you are in the Chariot energy where you've gotten over something or done with something, you're on the other side of it now, and you're just kind of feeling like you've been waiting forever to like start, or you've just been seated still for a long time, just know that there's a lot of creation happening behind the scenes. This for me is kind of like my pre-conscious layer. It's like the stuff that we understand has happened. We know it, we had to do a little work to like get through certain things. This is what we don't know. This is the stuff that's real deep down there. The Three of Pentacles is essentially the creation of our stability. And the way that I'm seeing the Three of Pentacles with this Hermit is it's almost like that stability and the foundation. So our core concepts, our personal beliefs about ourselves and about the world, the things that we're not necessarily even aware of. They're just there and they color everything. These are things that are starting to shift. They're starting to change. When we have the Hermit card, that Hermit, it's kind of modeled off the Hermit in Rider-Waite's. And Rider-Waite-Smith, their Hermit is really kind of modeled after Diogenes. And Diogenes, if you don't know who that was a philosopher, and he was kind of a crass character. He would do wild things like masturbate in public just because he could, and people couldn't stop him, and it's not what people did. I'm sure people tried to stop him. But the reason why he did things like this was just basically to show how like systems within society and culture, they really keep people from being themselves. They keep people from, doing things that they want to do. They keep people from doing, really, he just didn't like systems and he didn't like rules. I mean, he was, like I said, he was kind of a crass character. He would do things just to be a heel. And what this is saying is that there's a part of you that's ready to basically change the order of things inside of your life. When we have that Hermit card show up, for me, yes, it's going within, it's going internal, but because we're already talking about an internal space, it's really talking to me about that rebellion, overthrowing the old way. So there's these old structures and these old beliefs that are ready to be overturned, and because of this process of temperance that someone has engaged in, this alchemy of emotions that someone has gone through, what's being experienced here is this Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is the future happiness. It's when your wishes are fulfilled. We're moving out of the structure that was chiseled away for us into this energy. And it's all because someone has taken this time out. Some of you didn't choose to take that time out. It's like the universe forced you into that time out. This is why. It's very hard to walk when the whole structure isn't moving properly, right? And it's very hard to do new things inside of our life to the best of our ability when there's spaces within our mind that are reorganizing and reevaluating and remapping themselves. And this is what this is showing me. By doing the emotional work, someone may even be experiencing that their own hormones have changed, their chemical signatures have changed. So a good example of this is someone who is able to reprogram their depression, or they do the self-work and they find that they don't struggle with attention issues the way that they used to. So there's something here that has changed for whoever this message is for. It's like you used to suffer with something, and now you don't suffer with that, or at least it's alleviating a little bit now, depending on where in the timeline of the story you are. And there definitely is a process of integrating different things. Now, I'm not just speaking about integrating parts of ourself, like from a psychological standpoint. Remember that my readings are mostly energy. And so what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing that we're attuning and integrating different fields. For some of you, there's going to be a lot more intuition happening because of this complex of cups that's right here. And these are more feminine cups rather than the masculine cups. So these are receptive cups. They're cups that are receiving information. They're receiving from the astral spaces. They're receiving psychic information. Now, okay, I heard one more, so we're pulling one more card. Six of Pentacles. There's like this big question here about Four of Pentacles. It changes it a little bit. So it's still a big question though, because the Four of Pentacles receives something out of nowhere. They're not aware of it though, right? They aren't ever looking at the pentacle that's being offered by the universe. In this particular one, we have this youngster that's looking up at the sky and the pentacles are beneath them. And that's kind of what this reading feels like. It's like we may be struggling with our non-movement or our inaction, or really thinking and overthinking certain things about the directions that we need to move in, but not really having the motivation to do it. And this is just saying that it's not time yet. This isn't time. There's things still being processed and integrated, energies you're still attuning to, and until that time is ready, you're not going to find that motivation. Now, obviously this is, a reading, so take that with discernment. It's a collective reading. It's not a personal reading. Some of you who are watching this, I'm sure you really do need to try to find that motivation somewhere. But for others of you, you'll know if it's your reading. And there is this energy here that I'm kind of fascinated by, because with the Nine of Cups here, it's saying that our structure is changing into that which is a little bit more aligned to the direction that we want to head, which is towards our happiness. Okay, but her eyes are closed, so our self doesn't know what direction that's going to be yet. So that's why you haven't moved. That's why you haven't moved. You may have an idea consciously of the places, but your deep self is like, I don't know about that. And you're going to recognize that that's true, because you yourself will have moments where you're like, oh, can I actually do that? Will that be feasible? Somewhere within the deep self, they're not really sure what direction it wants to head in. And it knows it wants to be happy. It's got those cups established. It just has to open its eyes to see what those cups look like. So whoever this message is for, you may be therefore experiencing some of the third eye tingles, or even sometimes when I see this energy, you might be having third eye headaches in that area. And that's because that deep mind is really processing some information. It's restructured, it's gone through a whole hubbub here, and it's still trying to decide what the correct future looks like, what direction it wants to go in, how it wants to be, who it wants to become. And I am seeing a strong attenuation. Yeah, let's use that word. I am seeing a strong attenuation to the psychic field again. So I do think that some things may be processing out in dreams. You may be having some wild dreams right now. You may be having things happen in that moment before you sleep, where it's almost like, the hypnagogia, where you're starting to see those visions before you're actually asleep. And there may be some experiences that are happening that are kind of interesting. Notice how it's like the last half of this reading, it's all cups are in it. Water element is in it. And yeah. All right, let's see. The Sun. And the King of Wands. Yep. So this is what's going to happen. I don't feel that whoever this message is for, that you're going to be in this energy much longer. The sun for me is literally speaking about the sun. So this would be midsummer in the northern hemisphere. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, this would be winter. And I think that there's going to be a turning point there. There's going to be an energy that shifts where we move more into this King of Wands. The King of Wands is very much about doing. He's action-oriented. He knows how to get things done. Probably more so than any other king in the tarot. I think sometimes the King of Wands is better at doing things than the Emperor. Because the King of Wands sends his peons to go, or the Emperor sends his peons to go do it. The King of Wands does it himself. And with this King of Wands, this is kind of interesting, because his body is facing the past, his head is facing the future. It means that he never really forgets where he's from. He understands what he's been through, and there's something about his story, something about what he's been through that he takes with him into the future to basically help others. Because notice how he's looking at this. It's the Nine of Cups. When she opens her eyes, she's going to see this. She's going to see that everything that's behind her, all the things she's been through, all the stories that have accumulated on her soul like baggage over the years, if she still feels that it's baggage by the time that she's restructured, which she may not. When she opens her eyes, she's going to realize that it was all for this particular thing that she decides to bring forward for others. There's something communal in the future. There's something about helping others, helping humanity. Whether that is the point or it's the byproduct. One last card here. Okay. Oh, 8 of Wands. Movement. Very fast movement. When this energy shifts in midsummer, it is going to go fast. So allow yourself the space to rest now. Allow yourself the space to let the self do what it needs to really integrate, to figure out the direction it wants to go in. Don't beat up on yourself. Don't berate yourself. Give yourself that space because it's required. It's required so that you have the energy and the motivation to let this fire burn when that sun hits the midheaven. Or not midheaven, when it hits like the Tropic of Cancer here in the Northern Hemisphere. There's a, oh, what is this? Yeah, there's something else. That happened in the last reading, I think, because I just realized my words are messing up, but they're pulling me in even deeper. There's something here on like a very deep level. So we're going deeper than this? What? Okay, can I do this without my camera falling? I don't know if I can. Going on a deeper level here. Cutting the deck. The reason why I'm saying that is because I looked over and I saw this marker and I saw black noir. And when I saw that, immediately it just told me that there's something even deeper. Even deeper. There's a collective energy. There's a collective energy that it's almost like it's moving through us in some way. Yeah, the merging of the two. And that brings us in this Queen of Cups. Oh, all the shivers. So while this is happening for you, it's almost like on this deep space here in the, and I don't know why deep space just stood out, but I'll say it again. The Nine of Pentacles, this is the self-made man or woman, but this is the individual. It's like the merging of these unconscious energies into the individual through this process. You're merging through much more than just the psychic field. The psychic field is a very collective field, but it's like this deep unconscious energy that connects all of us. Someone at this time, you're merging with that energy. And this gives you, oh, that's why the King of Wands and the Eight of Wands, this gives a measure of influence. Okay, so I dare say that whoever this message is for, there's a lot of change that you yourself as a person are able to enact on a collective level. And the time that you're taking right now is basically the attenuation to that deeper field. Okay, and then it's done. All right. So whoever's message this is, if you resonate with this, please hit the like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.